Hey everybody, this is Jesse from Metalhead Alliance, and I am joined on the phone here now with Stan, who is the vocalist for the power violence hardcore band Terminal Violence. You guys are based out of Arkansas, is that right, Stan?
Yes, Terminal Nation. Terminal
Terminal
Nation.
Nation, Terminal Nation. I messed that up. I'm sorry. For some reason, I
Violence
want to say
everywhere.
Terminal.
Yeah, no, violence is good to have on the mind. That's good.
Well, thanks so much for joining me, Stan. How you doing today?
I am good. I am good. Just got off work. It's a beautiful Wednesday,
Oh
so
yeah,
I'm good. How about
Hump
yourself?
Day, Hump Day. Yeah, same here, man. It's beautiful. So, give us a little bit of a background of Terminal Nation, how the band started, when it started, all that kind of fun stuff.
Yeah, no worries. So a few years back, I've been in bands here and there over the years, but in 2014, I wanted to start a band. It was just like just get some of my friends together. It's not like I was trying to search for the most virtuoso guitar player, the craziest drummer, or whatever. I just wanted friends. They could play a little bit cool,
Mm-hmm.
but I just wanted a band filled with friends. And I've always wanted to be as far as I can remember. I've always wanted to be in a punk band.
Mm-hmm.
I played in like hardcore bands or like metal bands or whatever. But I kind of got started as a teenager into extreme music through punk. So I
Sure.
wanted like a punk band. So I was just like, hey, this is the style of music I want to play. I just want friends in it. It doesn't have to be, I don't need the most talented dudes. Just some dudes with a similar attitude as me. Just don't give a shit
Right.
or whatever. So I was like, I want it to be like a mix of old school New York hardcore meets like some West Coast power violence, early
Yeah.
era power violence vibe.
Yeah.
And just maybe we play a few shows here and there, but it kind of took off and became my full time shindig versus just my side project. So kind
Sure.
of stoked with where we're at now.
That's great. And where did you come up with the name Terminal Nation?
Yeah, yeah. The name actually is a name that I've had in mind to use for a band for like years and years. It's a song by the band Infest.
Okay.
People. I guess some people say that they're the originators of power violence.
Hmm.
But it's an Infest song off their second LP, No Man's Slave. So I was like
It's got a
that's killer name, killer song.
yeah.
That's what I want a band to be. And then finally, I found the band to name it that.
It's got a really good ring to it. It definitely fits the style. Um, are you originally from Arkansas, and is the rest of the band, are they all Little Rock, Arkansas, natives, or
Yeah, yeah. Vast majority of the band has lived in Arkansas the majority of their life. I actually was born in Los Angeles, California.
oh, okay.
So I moved to Arkansas kind of as a kid or as a teenager or whatever.
Hmm.
So I guess that kind of goes into play with some of the lyrical content and stuff. Just being kind of frustrated, not being able to find myself. It was definitely a culture shock going
Yes.
from Los Angeles to to rural Arkansas.
Yeah, which is pretty much the whole state.
Yeah, of course, exactly. So, there's a lot of like pent up aggression just in that, and for the longest time here, I living in Arkansas, I just didn't. A part of me was like, I hate this place. I don't want to give it a chance.
Mhm.
So I never really, until I got older and in high school. But I was always into punk rock, but I never like gave Arkansas a chance. I was like, well, this is not something that's here. But
Mhm.
after kind of, I guess, opening myself up a little bit, I actually discovered, hey, like in California, they have punk bands here and
Yeah.
a scene here
Really?
and stuff like that, and people who are just as pissed off as me. So I can,
Mhm.
I kind of found it through here. So the majority of the band is from Arkansas. I myself, I say that I'm from Arkansas and people ask. I'm born in Los Angeles,
Sure.
but Arkansas helped shape me to be, I guess, who I am and what Terminal Nation is.
That's great, man. And I'm actually a transplant to Tennessee. I live in Tennessee now, but I'm in New York. I'm the East Coast. I'm from New York
Oh,
originally,
nice,
so
sure.
it was a big culture shock coming down here about 11 years ago now. The South is a much different environment and much different mentality from either coast. I mean, I've I've been all over the country, and the West Coast has its own vibe, and the East Coast has their own vibe, and we, the South here has its own vibe. Um, why the like what is it about hardcore that attracts you? Why power violence? Why hardcore? Why not anything else? What is it about that genre that particularly appeals to you?
Sure, sure. I mean, I like all kinds of music. I know that sounds cheesy and cliche to say, but like the aggression.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I know there's a lot of punk bands that are aggressive, but this is like no frills. Like you got, just playing as fast as you can, out of your mind, just crazy, frantic tempo changes. While I love, many aspects of metal, just the as far as like, there's metal vocalists out there who are like, oh, that's a good vocalist because he's got tons of range.
Sure.
Whatever. But it's like a power violence band. It's like, it's just, it sounds like it was recorded off like a Motorola Razor or whatever, recorded in a dumpster. And it's like, that dude can be a sick vocalist because he sounds like himself.
Yeah.
He sounds mortal. He doesn't,
No.
While I love death metal and tech stuff, and, all kinds of other things.
Yeah.
I think there's something to be said about a dude who just sounds like
it's just raw.
A dude who's mad, just raw.
Yeah. And you touched a little bit about earlier about how when you came to Arkansas and not really thinking that you were going to like it too much, and then you kind of noticed or discovered that there is actually a scene for that music there, and that's really surprising to me. I've like I said, I've been all over the country, and I haven't lived in Arkansas. I've been in and out of the state a lot. I never would have thought that Little Rock has a hardcore punk scene. So that's pretty amazing to say. You got pretty good fan base around there.
Yeah. We got I guess we kind of fit in with a few different crowds. There's like the DIY, I guess the street punks or whatever that can vibe with our stuff, and then I guess our main audience would be like the hardcore kids, if you will.
Yes,
is what they're referred to or whatever. But then there's also like the metalheads that the metal dudes that really really love our stuff, and we kind of we take elements from all of those areas too.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean I'm a punk kid through and through, but we take elements from a little bit of everything. So I think a lot of people like us. We have a pretty decent following in Little Rock. I'm pretty stoked for it. I know, like I said, the punk scene's cool here. Hardcore scene is small.
Mm-hmm.
Most people, when it comes to like underground extreme music, they hear Little Rock and they think of like slow, like doom metal or stoner metal, sludge metal.
Yes.
So there's a lot of bands that, and we take influences like, some of our riffs you might be like, oh, that sounds.
It's very chunky, very slow, very sludgy, yeah.
Right. So there's a lot of stuff like that. I guess that's really big here in Little Rock, and those guys are kind of down with us too.
That's awesome. You do have a new album that's it's called Absolute Control. It's set to come out June 9th through Deep Six Records, as I understand.
Yes.
I did get a chance to preview that through the PR company that you guys work with. It's pretty intense, man. How do you guys plan on supporting the release of the album? What are your plans to hype that up besides just promoting and doing interviews and things like that? Do you have any shows lined up for the release, or what's your plan on that?
Yeah, absolutely. I think we're doing a little weekend run. We're in July, the first or second weekend in July. We're playing a couple of shows with a band called a hardcore band called Spine.
Okay.
They're centrally located out of Kansas City. The singer of Weekend Nachos, I'm sure you're probably familiar.
Yeah, sure, I've heard of him. Yep.
John. He plays drums in that band. They just recently announced that they were getting signed to Bridge 9 Records, so legendary hardcore label there. So that's cool for those guys. We're playing a couple shows with them, and then a band called Time Walk from Springfield, Missouri. Mm-hmm. They're like if you took like a 5 World of Warcraft nerds who were obsessed with Bolt Thrower and All Out War, like that's what you get. So they're a really really cool band. They just dropped the LP this year, so we're playing a few shows with them. Spine, Time Walk. we got a big record release show in Little Rock planned at Vino's, which is like our go-to venue in town.
Okay.
Or whatever. So it should be pretty crazy. There's, we're expecting a pretty good crowd there. I wish we could do more touring right now. We've got a couple of dudes in the band, slide into some new jobs, and then our bass player Chase is having a baby here in a couple of months. So congratulations to him.
Excellent.
But he's going to be, as of right now, up to birth of baby, and shortly after, he's going to be a little limited on his traveling, and I don't blame him. I've been in the same boat before.
Yeah,
so.
family man, sure thing. Now, have you ever? Is this the first time you guys have released anything through Deep Six Records? Do you have any history with them, or is this a first time thing?
Oh no, we our last record, which Waste, it's a 7-inch EP, was released by Deep Six Records. It's honestly, like I said, I've always been a kind of a power violence junkie here. Like the last few years, I have.
Yeah.
That's like my favorite label. The dude that runs it, his name is Bob. He's a man of mystery, but he plays in Lack of Interest, and now he plays in, I guess more notably, he plays in Infest now. So probably one of my favorite bands. So it's cool that he's releasing that for us. Our last record was kind of that he released for us was kind of more of a demo, but he approached us and he was like, "Hey, let's put it out." And we weren't sure if we were wanting to, sit on it, maybe do a tape, maybe polish or whatever. But he approached us about doing a record, and there's no way we could say no to that. It's Absolutely. Like I said, one of my favorite labels he's put out. I think he put out all the most of the Infest records.
Yeah.
Some Man is the Bastard records, Weekend Nachos, Extortion, Phobia.
Oh wow.
Just a bunch of great bands. I think he did some of the early Cattle Decapitation.
Oh wow, so you got a pretty impressive resume there, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm pretty stoked on that.
Well, I did get a chance to sample the record, and to me, being from the East Coast, and I kind of grew up in a time where I was a little bit too young to really get into the scene, the hardcore, the punk scene that New York, East Coast, and all that stuff is known for. But the sound is timeless, and I feel like Absolute Control really epitomizes that hardcore. The songs are short. They're aggressive. They just come at you, and it does. It sounds like something that I would, say came out of the East Coast. You know what I mean? And I noticed that some of the things in the bio about the band, said that when it was formed, you wanted to create a hardcore with a unique sound. And how do you feel that you've been able to accomplish this up to this point, and with the release of Absolute Control? What is it about this record that kind of stands out to you as unique?
Sure. We try to throw a little bit of different vibes here and there. Like I said, we'll have, you can feel, while I would call ourselves a hardcore band, you can feel elements from like your punk elements.
Sure.
And your metal elements and stuff like that. We have some, heavier, sludgier, slower riffs. The
breakdowns and stuff like that, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. So, like, you got your windmill spin kick kids.
Right.
It can be like, oh, hell yeah.
The crowd killers.
Right. And then, like, your headbangers are like, oh, hell yeah, or whatever. And, like, circle pitters, boom. I listen to a lot of stuff. We all kind of, I guess, take our own influences and just kind of mesh it together. Like I said, I wanted to start a band before, and I was like, I want a little bit of this, a little bit of that,
Sure.
And see how it goes. And that's kind of what we're doing here. We were never like, hey, here's one band that we want to sound like, and we're just going to stick with that. We're just, we just kind of, we write it. If it sounds cool, we'll go with it.
Yeah.
If it sucks, it sucks. We just drop it. But, if it feels cool, we'll go with it.
Run with it. And I feel like that's important in this day and age. A lot of metal and a lot of music in this vein and in this genre has been played out already. There's not a whole lot of innovative type stuff. So it's always encouraging to see bands that want to stick true to themselves and don't want to just be another cover band. Essentially,
Sure.
they have their original name, but they basically sound like the next thing that the last thing that came out by somebody else.
Right. Yeah.
So
exactly.
I definitely encourage that mindset. So that's really awesome. The with your background, in your love for the punk music and hardcore, and your involvement with your West Coast influences and stuff, what would you say the most brutal thing that you've witnessed at either one of your shows, a Terminal Nation show, or maybe any other hardcore show, punk show that you've attended? What's the most brutal thing you think you? Because I mean, they get pretty dicey, you know.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Well, like earlier in the interview, I said I played in another band where I was in a band called Jungle Juice for several years, and we were more so the Termination. Termination's more of like a like I said, no frills kind of thing. But Jungle Juice was like we had some power violence influences. We were kind of like similar to Termination, but we were known as like the hell raising band. We were known as like the party band.
Right.
I got a couple of dudes in Termination are straight edge, but like Jungle Juice, it was like game over, man. Every time we rolled in town, I'm not straight edge, so I can't maybe count on one hand the times I played a Jungle Juice show sober. So like it got pretty wild. We played a few basement shows in that band where like everyone started going crazy, and it's a small basement. There might have been comfortably you could fit 50 people in there, but there might have been 80 people or whatever.
Really?
People were jumping off like a washer and dryer, like throwing chairs or throwing bottles or whatever.
Like glass bottles?
Yeah, like glass bottles. Yes.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm a sucker for a good bottle breaking sound. I love that sound. So like, I'm like, hell yeah. And then,
that gets you hyped up.
Right. Of course, it may not have been the best thing in hindsight, but and then Terminal Nation, we played last year. We did a tour with a youth crew style band, like a hardcore punk band called New Heart. And one of those tour dates, we played in Athens, Alabama, I think. There's an Athens, Georgia, and Athens, Alabama.
Yep.
And if any of those kids hear this, they're going to hate me for mixing up the two. I think there's an Athens in both states.
Yeah.
But it was at like an event center in the middle of a field. It was really bizarre, called El Opry. We didn't. I mean, it was in the middle of nowhere. So we were like, oh, this will be cool, whatever. Our expectations weren't too high. But like I said, it was an event center that they were renovating. So there was some ladders just off to the side. There's a whole bunch of chairs for events that were put up. And at some point in time, I made the joke about, hey, we should have a WWE style TLC match. And then I said it tongue in cheek, but they were serious. They were like, hell yeah, let's do it. And then they pulled up tables, and there was dudes like during a circle pit part, there was dudes running with chairs.
Really?
And like two-stepping, I guess, out on like on a ladder, like elbow dropping. It was nuts. I think there was like a 10 or 15 second clip that surfaced on YouTube, and we were just like in awe. Like when it was happening, we were like, whoa, this is crazy. And then looking back on it, we're like, wow, that was just as crazy as I remember. But that as far as the Termination show, that's definitely one of the crazier ones that sticks out for sure.
That sounds crazy. And I've talked to some guys, this type of music particularly, when it comes to, power violence, where it's, it's different from what metalheads and moshing and slam dancing and stuff. It's been a part of the music culture, since the punk days, early punk. But I've talked to some guys where it's like, it's literally to them, it's like, it's literally about, you don't come to the show unless you're expecting to leave with an injury of some sort. Like it's basically going to be a fight, but different from, you don't go to a metal show and expecting, if you're going to get in the mosh pit, you can expect you're going to get bumped around, you may get a bruise. With these shows, it seems more like, no, you're going to leave with a black eye or bloody lip or worse. And they absorb it as a lifestyle. It's pretty fascinating to me. It's like, what's the appeal to that? I guess, do you have anything that you want to add on that, and with your background in punk and power violence and all this kind of stuff? I mean, can you relate to that at all? Or?
Oh, I mean, I think I know the type that you're referring to or whatever. Like I guess the crowd killing
Yeah, like they're just going out to knock people out, so to speak.
Yeah, man, and like, don't get me wrong. Like, if kids are going crazy or dudes are going crazy, people are going crazy when we play. That's awesome. Stage diving, whatever. That's sick.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know. The crowd. Like, don't get me wrong. Like the moshing and stuff.
Mhm.
I'm all about it. But like, if you're going to a show just to clobber people,
Yeah,
take that shit somewhere else. Like that's.
right.
I don't know. It's kind of like.
I feel the same way. I mean, there's a fine line between having a good time and getting rowdy with your friends and people of like minds and letting out that aggression, and then there's a difference between that and just going out to be a dick, and
Yeah,
hurt
absolutely.
people.
Like if I, we've mentioned Infest a few times in this interview, but like they reunited at Chaos and Tejas Fest in Texas, and that was one of their first reunion shows in 2012 or 13, something like that. But like there was like over 1,000 people in this like little warehouse, and I was up at the front. I was singing along. Like I got jumped on. I expect that if I'm at the front.
Uh-huh.
But I mean, if I'm in a danger zone, I expect to get hit. But it's like there's people that, and it always ends up being people that are smaller, weaker, whatever. But like if you're going out, if you go to a show with the intent to start, initiate, or pick a fight, you can just fuck off, dude. Like
Right. Yeah.
That's so whack.
Yeah. So what are the plans for Terminal Nation in the long term? I mean, you got this album that's about to drop here in a couple of weeks. You're going to be playing some shows. I know you said you had some, obviously band members with, other personal things going on in their lives that may inhibit, more extended involvement. But in the long term, where would you like to see, Terminal Nation end up or go?
Yeah, I would like to. We haven't done a whole lot of touring, but I would like to maybe do some more touring. As far as like, I guess I'm always looking to what's next. I'm very ADD minded, I guess.
Yeah, sure.
In a lot of ways, but yeah, I mean, I've always wanted to do an LP with a band. I've never done like a full length record, so I mean that's definitely something that I'm hoping to do. In the near future. After
things settle down a little bit.
Settle down with this release or whatever. So maybe it might be into next year before we can really hit the road. But I would like to do some more tours. I've always wanted to. I've done a lot of touring in my other band, Jungle Juice, but I've always wanted to hit up Japan. And like,
oh wow, yeah,
that seems crazy, but I mean, there's bands that are, I guess, relative to our stature that have done it, and I'm like, man,
oh yeah,
I just need to bite the bullet and do it. Or Japan or Europe. I'm like, before I die, I'm going to tour both of those.
Got to do it, man.
So I mean, that's on my bucket list. And then cutting a full length record that I'm proud of there.
Yeah, I mean, and you guys are just to put a bug in your ear. I live in Tennessee, and around the Nashville area.
Nice.
We have a lot of different bands that are all based in and around this area, and there is actually I'm not heavily involved with it, but there is a very dedicated and devout punk scene here. Something that you guys would probably fit in real well with if you guys ever decide to hit the road and you're looking for a show.
Cool.
Hit us up and we'll see what we can do about looking for putting you into connections with some of the. They do a lot of house shows, which is great for punk, punk rock and hardcore and stuff. Those house shows are great. So there's always stuff like that going on. So we can definitely maybe put you in contact with some people around here if you're ever looking to hit up this area.
Would love to. I love Nashville area.
And you're not that far either. It's
no, I think like
6 hours, maybe
6 hours and some change.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you're a hockey fan, but I'm pretty stoked on the Predators right now.
I'm personally not, but it seems that you don't even have to be a hockey fan to be stoked about the Preds, man. Like they pulled it off, something fierce.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy.
What's your idea if you had to pick a lineup for a concert, either for Terminal Nation to be on or just for you to see, like, who would you select for your 3 or 4 bands?
Ooh.
Perfect concert lineup.
Man, that's tough. I feel like when I say that's tough, I feel like if we're having a slow day at work, I'm daydreaming. I'm like, okay, if I win the lottery and I
Yeah.
could book my own show, and it could be anything, who would I book? I would say probably Infest would be in that lineup.
Sure.
Um, just coming off the top of my head, I have to go with the recently. I guess they're saying they're reunited. I know they're playing some shows now, but Insect Warfare.
Okay. Yeah.
Would probably be in that lineup. Phenomenal grindcore band
Yes.
from Houston, Texas. Third band, I would say maybe Integrity, as far as like metallic style hardcore bands.
Mm-hmm.
That's like, they're like the blueprint of what a hardcore band should be. They do a lot of experimental, crazy shit.
Sure.
Stuff like that. I guess they take more chances than some of their peers. So that's definitely one of my favorite hardcore bands. I guess that sounds like a good show right there.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't know. Maybe
Sounds
throw in
intense.
Negative Approach or I Hate God or something to.
Yeah, just mix it up a little
round it
bit.
out.
Yeah. Round it about. Yeah. Hell yeah. You've been involved in music, different bands and stuff, over time, and now you have Terminal Nation. What kind of positive impact has Terminal Nation specifically made on your life? Just outside of music, just any kind of positive impacts that you want to share with us?
Yeah, I guess with Terminal Nation, I've kind of, I guess I've been more so the daddy of the band, so it's kind of helped my adulting skills a little bit, kind of keeping track. I do all the ins and outs and all the fine print that all comes and goes through me. So whatever. I guess other than that, other than like keeping all the ducks in a row, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I've met a lot of cool people through the band.
Sure.
Hung out with some friends. That's about it. I mean, there's a lot of bands that we have befriended, all over the place through this band. So that's pretty cool to see. A lot of my, I don't want to say, not peers, but dudes in like legendary bands from like 20 years ago who I've looked up to their bands or I've bought their records.
Right.
Bands like Despise You, Asshole Parade, older like grindcore power violence bands now know me through this band because of like us and like I guess the connection with West Coast power violence through like Deep Six Records or whatever. So it's cool that that I've played some shows and met a bunch of cool people through this band. That's definitely one of the biggest positives out of it all.
And that's what I love about this this style of music generally is very family oriented type. There's a lot of camaraderie. There's a lot of you never meet a stranger at a metal show or at a punk show or anything like this. You never met somebody a day in your life before, and you are meeting on common grounds, and you have common interests, and it's like your family, and you build relationships, and that's one of the things I love about the metal genre and the subculture that's kind of attached to it all.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I can scroll through my Facebook friends list, and it's like the vast majority of people that I'm friends with outside of like the music scene. Yeah. I'm like, man, these people suck. Like,
right.
If
they're boring.
A coworker at an old job or something sends me a Facebook message, or a friend request, but then a few minutes later I get a dude in a Phobia T-shirt with 50 mutual friends, and he listens to the grindcore. Send me a friend request. Probably gonna friend the dude that I have no idea who he is just because
of that association.
Like, yeah. I mean, we listen to similar music. I think, like hardcore, power violence, punk, even metal. We all have like a similar mindset, and we can kind of all meet on as far as like, like sociological. We agree on like the same things. Like, I can't walk into Walmart and just look at some dude and be like, oh, me and him probably agree on a lot of stuff. A guy in a Bass Pro Shop T-shirt or something. But if I see a dude with an Infest shirt on. I'm like, I'm sure that we kind of see eye to eye on a
Right.
lot of stuff.
Right.
So.
Yeah. Exactly. There's a lot of bad shit going on in the world now. There's a lot of hate, a lot of aggression, um, over various things. Do you think that despite the aggressive nature of the music that Terminal Nation is doing and stuff, do you think that despite that the band could ever be a voice against acts of hatred, and things like that? Do you feel like there's a place for that in your music ever?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I don't know if you ventured in like too far on some of our live videos, but I mean, within the last few months more so, I never wanted this to be like a political band or anything
No.
like that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But in the recent climate, it's kind of hard not to be. So I've kind of I guess like your mouth, like your verbiage is like one of the most powerful things you have. So like, I mean, in this day and age, if an unarmed child is killed by the police or something like that, and you have, or there's any type of injustice going on, whether they be racial, any type of prejudices, like, if I have a microphone in my hand, it's almost a shame if I don't address the elephant in the room.
Yeah.
So, and I know this may sound like it's a little off topic, but I've always been since I was a kid, a professional wrestling fan.
Sure.
If there's one thing professional wrestling has taught me, it's that like you can get yourself over, or you can make an impact by, I guess the wrestlers call it cutting a promo or just talking.
Yeah.
So like some of our more recent sets, where I'll talk for maybe a minute or two, and then we'll kick off our set.
Yeah.
But most people think, oh, riffs or breakdowns, that'll get the kids pumping. But if you address some of this hatred, this nonsense that's kind of coming more to fruition lately, I mean, if you address that, and it's something that, like I said, most people in the music community that I'm in, we kind of all have a similar mindset. So if I'm like, hey, enough of this, this homophobia or this racism or whatever, and you can get some dudes pretty pissed off in a good way, like, hey, I agree with you, and then they get pumped and they feed off of that. So we've kind of, and I mean, some people get it, some people don't. Some people say that, hey, stop being so preachy, or they just disagree with whatever I'm saying.
And then it's that's just kind of goes with the territory. Not everybody's going to agree with you, and that's not why you do it.
Yeah, absolutely. But there's been a few of our more recent shows where I'll have the mic before we start, and I'll talk for a minute or two, and it's like, I guess it
triggers a nerve.
We had a few months back where I did a speech on a lot of the racial issues that are going on in this country, and like a lot of people were really moved by it. Kind of started to gain a lot of momentum there. I think you can probably find it on our Facebook page.
Sure.
But some people love it, some people don't. But like, I feel like it's an injustice to not call out injustice when you see it. Like, especially
I'm with you. I'm with you on that. I stand. So Absolute Control is dropping via Deep Six Records on June 9th. And tell us, and everybody who's going to be end up listening to this, where they're going to be able to acquire this record once it drops.
Yeah, absolutely. I believe on June the 9th it'll be up on your Apple Music, Spotify areas. I'm sure we're going to throw it up on our Bandcamp as well. You can pick up the physical, like the vinyl record, through deep6records.com. He's a very old school dude, so his website is ancient. He doesn't have an add to cart button. You gotta type him out a PayPal message, or you can snail mail him cash. But he's an old school man of mystery or whatever. But yeah, you can pick it up at deep6records.com. I'm sure it'll be on RevHQ, the Revelation Records web store, and plenty of other distros all over the place. So just type in Absolute Control, Terminal Nation. You can't not find it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Well, man, I'm really stoked for you guys. Wishing you the best of luck. following the release of the record and the days and months and years after. Wish you all the success that you can possibly have. And so yeah, everybody, we've been talking with Stan from Terminal Nation, based out of Little Rock, Arkansas. And if you're into some power violence, hardcore, some real aggressive, just in your face, no frills, noise and stuff that just you want to just lose your shit to, check these guys out on Facebook. You see you have a Bandcamp page, right? You on Reverb Nation or anything like that as well? Or?
No, Reverb Nation. We have a Twitter, Facebook,
cool.
Bandcamp. That's it.
Well, we're gonna link everything in the video once this gets posted, or the interview is gonna go up on YouTube. So we'll have all your page links and stuff in the comment section for people to find you. That pretty much wraps it up, Stan. Is there anything else that you wanted to add before we part ways today?
Just keep your eyes peeled. We're hoping to garner some attention with this release. Hope you guys dig it. To anyone else out there who may not be as familiar with our music or our type of music, there's plenty of other bands who are doing similar things that are killer. Check out, Fissure, Sex Prisoner, God's America, a bunch of other young, up-and-coming, hardcore, power violence bands who are just killing it right now.
Excellent.
I guess that's it. I appreciate your time, Jesse. It was awesome.
Yeah, man, we had a great time. Thank you once again. Everybody, too, make sure you guys are liking and following Metalhead Alliance on Facebook. Lots of great interviews and album reviews and stuff coming up. Everybody, once again, Stan with the band Terminal Violence. Check them out. Thanks again, Stan.
All right, take it easy. Have a good one.
You too.
All right, bye.